Hi there everyone, welcome back again. I'm Petra, I'm a life coach and an advocate for survivors of narcissistic and emotional abuse. I just wanted to touch on a question that keeps coming up by way of email, survivors that I speak to, people that I've coached in my practice in the last couple of months. The question that tends to often arise is, how do I set boundaries when it comes to having sex with my ex? So, great question. There's two questions involved here. How do I set the boundary, of course, and I just end up falling in bed with him whenever we meet. Well, two things going on here is that, it is very, to just give you my story, when I was sort of wrapping things up, going no contact with my ex or my narcissistic ex-boyfriend very many years ago. That's right, I imagine it's about 24, 25 years ago. Yeah, I'm that old. I was working in Sweden at the time, and we used to see each other. I used to fly back to Holland, or he used to fly over to Sweden, every 6 to 8 weeks or so. And we would, try and maintain our relationship. At least that's what I thought we were doing, not realizing at the time that I was involved with a narcissistic person. So there came a point where he demanded that I return home, so that I leave my job in Sweden and return back to Holland, because he said this is, it's detrimental to our relationship, and it's just not going to work out. And all of this stuff, all the blaming and shaming of the very successful career or job that I had in Sweden. And we had decided before this that this is what I would do. I'd signed a contract for 3 years, and this is what I would do, and then we would pick up from there. But needless to say, when the narcissist is not in control, then they will put blame on you, they will project shame onto you in order to get you to do what they want you to do. So, prior to my contract ending, I left Sweden and I came back to the Netherlands. And we had all these great plans of getting married and settling down and having kids and, the whole shebang. I knew, this was my intuition talking to me. I knew that this relationship was over. In my deepest of deepest feelings, I knew that this person was not good for me. I knew that I had to break the relationship, and I knew this just wasn't going to work out. But anyway, I still packed up and I came back to the Netherlands. And there's something, your intuition will always tell you the truth. Your intuition is so clear and is so pure. It's your mind that plays tricks on you. So whereas my intuition was clear, my mind said, well, leave a door open. Maybe this is still going to work out. Maybe if we have sex, I'm going to tie him back into the relationship, and this is the way I will be able to maintain this relationship. So in my mind, there was still hope, hoping that we could reconnect and reestablish, and that we would just, swim off into the sunset together. But so I went ahead and, we were intimate again. And he promised me the world, and he promised me all the wonderful things that, all the sweet nothings really that are whispered in your ear in those throes of passion, and in the hope that you hold for this relationship. That was the one evening. And by the next morning, I was given the boot. So this is something that went on for, I think, 2 or 3 weeks, where I was given the boot and I would go back. Then he would offer sex and I would go back and have the sex with him and then leave again. And this is what happens when we do not have clear boundaries. This is what causes so much pain, so much anguish, and this is what keeps you from finding that closure that we all want. So you have got to stop having sex with your narcissistic ex. It's just as simple as that. And you know, there is no textbook, there is no protocol that you follow when learning how to set boundaries. Setting boundaries is just a matter of doing it. Just set those boundaries and follow through. Now, I realize that that sounds very simple, and it actually is, but of course it takes practice. You cannot go from 0 to 100 just like that. You have to start practicing. And when you get clear in your mind, that this is not what you want, even though your mind is telling you this, yes, this is what you want, and maybe you can fix them, maybe you can give them more love, more understanding, and this is going to keep them in the relationship. This is your mind that plays tricks, and you only have control of your mind. That is something that you need to be responsible for. So all these stories about we just ended up in bed again together. No, this is something that you are responsible for. The narcissist will do anything, and if they know that sex is your weakest spot, this is what they're going to hone in on, and this is how they're going to get you back into the relationship. You are sleeping with them with the intention of making it work. Maybe in your mind you have this fantasy about making love with your partner, where for the narcissist it is simply a method of control. It is a method of feeling mighty and godlike, feeling that they, that they can keep you like a puppet on a string when they have sex with you. And this has got to stop. You cannot heal if you leave that mental door open, hoping that you are going to change them, hoping that they are going to change their ways and that you are going to be so blissfully happy together. That is an illusion. So I think, sex is a very, very powerful tool. It is not only, and especially for those of us who have been sincerely in love with the illusion of love, this is how we can very easily fall for this control tactic. And it is not only a mental thing, and it could be the same for men, but I'm just speaking on behalf of women right now because I know what makes a woman tick and I know how women think. Sex to us is not just a physical thing. It is a mental thing. It is an emotional thing. It is the art of making love. And this is what we give in the hope that this will add more value and more color to the relationship. But this is simply not the way it works, especially when it comes to a narcissist. So this is what they're going to try. And especially when a narcissist has a very strong sense of knowing what makes you tick, knowing how they can push your buttons. And this is a very powerful tool. Sex is a very powerful tool that they will implement, that they will draw out of their toolbox and use against you at the end of the day, because it is all against you. It is not because it is sincerely what they want. It is not because they are planning on spending their lives with you. It is a tool, simply a tool. So this is what they will use, and that is their responsibility. You've got to be clear. This is also about setting boundaries. You have to be clear what is the narcissist's responsibility, the responsibility that they will never acknowledge, and what is your responsibility. And you have the responsibility to yourself and to your own healing to stop that game. And they have the sense of knowing that they can enter your mind space again. They can manipulate you into falling into bed with them. But this is where you get to state your boundary. It has to be clear to you. You have to acknowledge your intuition telling you this is not going to work out. And when you have acknowledged that, then you can state that boundary to your narcissistic partner, your ex-partner, and state that boundary, and then also state what the consequences are that are involved. If you step over that boundary, I will not speak to you again. And this is in the case of you having children together. If you overstep a boundary, then I'm afraid that you cannot come over to my home when I'm alone. We cannot meet up for coffee to discuss the children. No, then you have to keep contact to a bare minimum. This is the consequence that you have to communicate. And a narcissist is very good at not respecting boundaries. So do not even try and state those boundaries from their point of view. Your boundaries are your boundaries. They are meant to keep you sane, to keep you safe, to keep you balanced. And this is what you have to reinforce. So really there is no excuse. You cannot say he or she came over to my house and we just fell into bed together. No, 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 no. That is because there was a lack of boundaries. So this is what you have to do. There is no way of learning how to set a boundary. You learn by doing. So set that boundary and reinforce it, because sex is not only a powerful tool for the mind, but it is also because women get more emotionally involved when they are making love in their minds, when really it is just mechanic sex. So this is something that you need to get clear for yourself. Stop doing that. I fell for it, and I continued on that road for 3 weeks after the relationship had ended. And somehow I knew if I continued with this, then I would forever be caught in his web of deceit, of cheating, because he was a terrible cheater. He would be messing around with women, whenever I wasn't around, when I was working in Sweden. And I just knew, my intuition told me, this is not going anywhere. So when you allow your intuition to speak, that is when you have to make the conscious decision to stay away. No contact is no contact. No contact is not once a month we can speak, or now and then we can send each other an email or a message, or whatever, whatever way of communication you choose. No, no contact is no contact. And that is the only way you are going to heal. You cannot heal when you are still in communication with them, in contact with them. So, sex is a very intimate thing, or making love is a very intimate and very personal thing. That is something that should be sacred, that you only share with one particular person, where there is respect involved, where there is sincere love and integrity involved. This is when you can enter into a healthy relationship. And having sex with someone who disrespects you, who makes you feel small, who brings you down, who intimidates you, who manipulates you, that is not the way to go. That is not what you should want for your life or for your person. So I hope that has helped some. Take care of yourselves, and just remember, no sex. Stop going back. Do not allow it. Protect yourself and respect yourself enough to not tolerate this kind of sexual abuse. Take care of yourselves, and speak to you all next time. Bye for now.